Good afternoon and welcome to United TV. My name is Kemal Erkan. Today we are featuring one of Delaware's most respected organization, YWCA of Delaware. For more than 125 years, YWCA has stood for empowerment, racial and gender equity, and opportunities for all. Today we have Melissa Gonville. She's going to join me, the CEO of YWCA of Delaware, and we are going to discuss YWCA in and out, and our goal is to make sure that our audience is able to have a really good understanding of what this organization is doing. And in my humble opinion, I believe sometimes they're a little bit rated. Maybe like there's a lot going on. They do a lot of good work, and it's one of the most meaningful way of doing charity. And that's why we invited Melissa to our show. This is her second time. So Melissa, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me, Kamal.
Well, thank you for being here. There are a couple organizations. We kind of build this foundation for us, and YWCA is the first one actually that we have this connection, and because of that, it's going to be always special for me. So, and I know we work very close with your team, yourself, and we want to be able to do more on behalf of YWCA. So our goal is to make sure that we can be the voice for your services, so then it can increase the awareness, and hopefully we can get more support and more people to understand, and also them to understand the challenges that you go through. It's not like any other business. This is a very different, it has a very different meaning, and I try my best. And you were actually, on Wednesday, you were at our business office meeting, which was very important. Again, every individual who can understand what you are doing better, that's, I know that's going to make the future better for everyone. So I'm going to start with my questions, and if you can kind of start with services, what exactly we are providing, and also how many people we serve annually.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you having me on here. Increasing the visibility for YWCA Delaware is one of my big goals, to make sure everybody knows what we do and why we do it. So so first of all, YWCA is really focused on improving economic security and health and safety for women and children and families across Delaware. So that's one of our main goals. We serve about 8,500 people a year. We have 5 offices across the state, so we operate across Delaware. We have our headquarters is in Wilmington, in our Home Life Management Center, which a lot of people are the most aware of. We also have our Sexual Assault Response Center, and we have 2 of those. We have one in Georgetown, Sussex County, and then we also have one in Newcastle. Our newest site is we have a space in St. Francis Hospital. They have a project called St. Francis Healthy Village. And we are bringing all of our services there, 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. You can visit, and it's a great place because there are a bunch of nonprofits all in one place. So people can come into the hospital, they can see their doctor, and they can go to these nonprofits that serve various functions.
Is this similar to the PACE? I heard something from Highmark.
I think it is very similar to that. So
Okay.
Healthy Village is just pulling all the services into one place.
I see.
But as far as what our services are, we have 5 main programs. Our first one is housing. We do emergency and transitional housing in our Home Life Management Center in Wilmington. We also do community housing. So we do provide services that try to keep people out of the shelter system. We do rapid rehousing, trying to put people in apartments. Diversion, which sometimes, and homeless prevention, where sometimes someone's in an apartment, they're maybe about to lose their home, but they're behind on rent, they're behind on utilities. We get funding to try to help families get out of that situation and stay in their homes. And we develop partnerships with landlords across Delaware to try to make sure that we are not only keeping people in their homes, but finding places for people to live, which is very important. So that's housing. Then we have a Sexual Assault Response Center, and that's where we provide 24/7 support to survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and human trafficking. We do things like, we have a 24/7 helpline. We do counseling, both group and individual counseling. aftercare case management, and we also will do medical and legal accompaniment. So we'll meet people at the hospital, meet people at police stations, et cetera. So that's our Sexual Assault Response Center. Our third program, Economic Empowerment. We have various programs through there. We do financial counseling and coaching, home ownership counseling, foreclosure counseling, which unfortunately has become very time consuming for our counselors there. And we do career development as well, things like digital literacy, resume building, career development type workshops. We also do youth development. So we do a lot of programs. A lot of people don't know everything YWCA does. Youth development, we have programs for both middle school and high school students. One's called Esteem, one's called YW Leaders, really helping students become self-aware, self-sufficient, confident, increase their self-esteem, as well as generate a new generation of leaders in the state. And last but not least, we do communication and community engagement and advocacy. So we do programs that are educational, such as book talks. We do panel discussions, things like that. We have a Let's Talk series where we do things like this with a group of people talking about our services, our programs, our mission. And then we also do a lot of advocacy. We talk to the legislators across the state, our national legislators as well, really focusing on those things that fit into our mission and our programs and services to try to do the best we can for our community in Delaware.
So transitional housing is it's one of the probably not really well understood term. So what we mean by that is we are actually the YWCA of Delaware. We would be able to take someone who's in crisis, but they know that they're not going to be there forever. So, and that's why it's important from the beginning. That's what separated YWCA from the other organizations for me is, yes, we do want to help people, but we don't want them to become dependent on these. So because everyone should be able to build skills and get the proper help that they need, and then should be able to live on their own. And that's why I believe when I talk about YWCA, it just automatically puts the organization in a different spot, so a different level. So, and also people, you mentioned the emergency, the overnight they can stay.
Emergency housing is up to 90 days.
Which, I think we have 2 rooms available.
We actually have 28 rooms available.
The one in the emergency?
Yeah, for emergency housing. Yep.
So I remember the 2 on the back. So they can just stay for overnight if there was some crisis. Maybe I'm.
Yeah, that might not be. Yeah, maybe they did that in the past, but now we have that. We have 28 rooms that are for up to 90 days. We have. We do have a few rooms that are focused on survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence who are in crisis. So that might be what you're thinking about.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
And
well,
then,
actually, one of them is after my grandmother's name. So.
Yes.
So those are. That's what I remember.
So, so that must be those rooms.
So, but yeah, the 28 units are kind of like they can live there.
Yeah.
Pretty much for up to 90 days, as you said, and. When we actually saw those places first time, the first tour, and I think one of the things that I want to do with our team in United Medical, for them to have like small groups to kind of come and visit you guys to better understand how excellent everything is. So that's why we need more help. So this is very engaging and also rewarding. So in many ways. Now I know last couple of years. Maybe more than a couple of years with the pandemic, there's a lot of challenges nonprofit organizations are having. So what are the certain challenges that you are experiencing at YWCA of Delaware?
Yeah, there's a few. The first one, and I think every nonprofit leader would have this come to mind first, which is funding challenges. They have gotten even more challenging over the last year. So we have lost a couple of major grants that supported those housing programs that I talked about, as well as the Sexual Assault Response Center. So that is extremely challenging for the staff as we try to look for additional funding, either still within the federal government, outside the federal government, state, corporations, increasing our individual giving. So funding challenges are huge. Not only the grants that we've lost, but just the uncertainty about what's going to happen with funding, as with the new budget, et cetera. And one of the things I would say, too, is that uncertainty on the funding creates stress for the staff. So we have an amazing staff that spends their days supporting people who are struggling in some
Right.
way or another. They've suffered from trauma, difficult situations, and so it's hard for me to see the staff really also facing that uncertainty about, are we going to be able to keep doing this? Are we going to have the funding? So that's a challenge as well. Impending changes to Medicaid and SNAP or other things that worry us. You know, we're worried about how that's going to impact our clients. And then I would say the other challenge that I would bring up is affordable housing. So
Hmm.
it's a huge goal for us to get everybody stably housed, whether it be renting an apartment or buying a house. Buying a house is like the ultimate. We love it when our clients
Right.
are able to purchase a home. Delaware is actually short about 19,000 affordable housing units, and that's happening across the nation as well. Um, you know, one of the things we think about is that households who are spending over 30% of their income on housing alone
Hmm.
are considered cost burdened. And if they're spending 50% or more, they are severely cost burdened. And you're going to be shocked, but over half of the renters in Delaware are cost burdened. So they're paying over 30% of their income
Oh, wow. Yeah,
on housing, which is
definitely.
tough. And it's interesting because I read an article in the New York Times yesterday where I think it was Bank of America did a study, and they said that a quarter of Americans, I think it was 24%, are spending 95% of their income on necessities like housing, gas, groceries, and
Like pretty
utilities.
much paycheck to
So
paycheck.
they live paycheck to paycheck, and they don't have anything for those emergencies or even to do anything fun.
Well, that kind of brings me up to my next question with the inflation and the impending changes with the SNAP programs and other fundings. Now, when the economy is not doing well, so of course everyone is being affected by this, right? But it has a different impact in the lower level. Your uh, people who are benefiting from your organization, from YWCA, a lot of single moms, right? A lot of people who are making not enough. Uh, well, almost all of them are not making, and then they have a disproportionate of impact of this economy is not doing well. So if the guy with the family with $600,000 income is not buying the sports car that they were planning to buy, but when it's at a different level at this clientele that we are serving, it's not the same. This is about like, am I going to be have enough food, or am I going to be have a safe place to stay? So that just puts a lot of depression, a lot of pressure on them. So how is this? How are you dealing with these, and how are your clients actually handling these?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Inflation always disproportionately impacts people at lower income levels, and which is the vast majority of our clients. And they have to start making impossible choices. Can I afford health care, or can I afford food? Can I afford rent, or can I afford, to buy clothing for my children? There's just impossible choices that they start to have to make. And grocery prices have climbed 28% over the last 5 years.
Right.
So that's been a big impact. We do have a food, it's also stretched dollars for us because we're not going to let anybody go hungry. So we do serve 3 meals a day in our shelter. We have a food pantry, et cetera. So we're trying to do what we can to help the families with the food pantry, with a garden that we have. And then again, trying to get donations, not only of monetary donations, but get donations of food to help our clients. Yeah, I was going to
So
say, yeah.
you know, the way for those who may not actually seen the place or not checking the news or the photos, when I was several times when I was there, mealtime, like lunch or dinner, and I was actually kind of really shocked, surprised in a pleasant way. So it's not just one person is doing whatever they want to do; they're just doing their own thing. This entire uh, we call them client, but a group of people who are there staying, they do things together,
Mm-hmm.
and they prepare stuff together, and then that probably has that support, in our bariatric Friday last week, I believe we did a bariatric support group, and then we try to explain people why this type of support is important when people are going through certain things, and it kind of makes it very clear that that natural organic setup that you already created there probably helping them a lot emotionally. And with that, you have the garden, the food pantry, and this is just, you know, it's great that you are able to do those. How are the clients benefiting from these at YWCA?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll talk about the food pantry and the garden, but also what you said about the clients doing things together and providing enrichment activities. It's one of the favorite things for our case managers to do as well as the clients. So we do have a garden. We've actually expanded on that garden recently. There's it's 6 raised beds. I see it enough, but I think it's 6 raised beds, and we actually just got funding to build a greenhouse so that we're
This
going
is
to
in
be
the
able.
city, right?
It's in the city.
Yeah.
It's on Madison Street, and we're going to be able to. We're going to build a greenhouse and be able to then raise vegetables year round to really help our clients eat more healthy throughout the year. We also have a people's pantry, which started about a year and a half ago, and it was really focused on our clients who lived in home life at first, and then we expanded to all of our clients had access, and now we're actually offering to the community some hours for people to come in. So Tuesdays and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., people can come get food from our pantry, and Thursdays from 5 to 7. So we're always looking for people to volunteer to help us with that too. So just put that plug in. But the enrichment programs are great. So I was actually at the Home Life Management Center yesterday, and they were doing pocketbook bingo in our dining area. So all of the emergency housing clients, they eat in the dining room, and they were all in there after dinner playing bingo, and so we could hear them yelling as people won, and it was fun. And we do things like that. We do Pamper Me nights, we do yoga, we do movie nights for the kids, game nights, open mic. I've heard is their favorite. I haven't been to that one. Karaoke. So yeah, we try to do that so that they
Don does
form a
lot of
community.
choreo, so he can come and
A karaoke. That's awesome. I don't think anybody wants to hear me sing karaoke, but yeah, but that helps them form a community, and then they do things like they'll help each other out within the Home Life Management Center as well. People will babysit for each other or help each other out if they need help in any way, which is fantastic. It builds a community.
You know, I have to kind of confess, I have a little bit ADHD, so when I'm going through stuff, I couldn't help but focus on what you have, the pin.
Yes.
And I try to make sense out of it. There's a home.
Little houses.
Yes, right, house. So is it anything like special?
It's very special. So I'm glad you asked me.
I don't normally do this. I'm usually very kind of like kind of staying with my question, but it looks different.
Yes, I love this pin. So there was a woman named Lucinda. There is a woman named Lucinda who actually had experienced homelessness herself when she was younger. And when she became stable, she actually became an artist, and she started making pins, among other things, and using them to help homeless people by providing those pins to organizations to raise money for shelters such as us. So this particular one, she donated pins to the Unitarian Church, and they sold them, and they donated the money to YWCA Home Life Management Center. And then when she had stopped doing that, they gave us the rest of the pins. We give them to new board members. So you'll see, if you see this pin, it's usually a YWCA former or current board member.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yep. Very nice.
Yep.
So was she one of the clients who
you know what? I don't know if she was a client of our Home Life Management Center. I just know that she's someone who became aware of us, and since she had experienced homelessness, she just really felt strongly about our services.
So working for a charity like this, one of the most prestigious, and I think one of the most meaningful, I'm going to say that. So what are you most proud of when you think about YWCA of Delaware?
As soon as you ask me what I'm most proud of, the thing that comes to mind right away is the staff. We have an amazing staff. They're passionate about our services. They're passionate about the work that they do and about helping vulnerable women and families across Delaware. They're very focused on having our clients become more confident, heal and recover from trauma, and achieve stability. It's huge. So that, I will say, that is probably what I'm most proud of, is my staff. And I will say, we talked about the challenges we're facing this year, and they've been significant. the staff has really stepped up in significant ways. And I'm just going to give a few quick examples. So I'm proud that we increased the number of youth that we served in our programs. We almost doubled it last year, which was great. We were selected to provide case management services for the Family Hope Project at the Hope Center. So the Hope Center has this Family Hope Project. They're going to have 120 families that go through. They'll spend 90 days at the Hope Center and then get placed into an apartment. Our team is going to do the case management to help them find those apartments,
Oh, wow.
among other things. So that I'm proud of that. And then we also just received a grant for transitional housing specific to survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and human trafficking, and specific to Sussex County. So our SARC team will be able to help survivors find those homes. So we do transitional housing in Wilmington, and it's in the shelter that I talked about. This is more out in finding people apartments, but still being able to support them from 6 to 24 months in an apartment in Sussex County. So we're very excited about that. So the staff has really stepped up. I guess one other thing I will say is the clients. I'm so proud of the clients. We have people who come to us. Many of them are women and children, as you mentioned earlier. They come to us in their most vulnerable moments. So they might have recently become homeless. They may have just suffered from sexual assault or domestic violence. They might be on the brink of losing their home. And they come to us and they have the courage to seek help, to invest the time and energy to really move forward productively, become stable, and get back on their feet. So I'm proud of the clients, and this is why we do what we do.
So one of the signature events of YWCA is the annual breakfast. And unfortunately, I missed that this year, first time since 2010. So I was in Utah. There was some speaking engagements. So, and everyone is like, "Oh, what's going to happen to YWCA?" So then, we have our team with it. This week was a little bit, I guess. Our turnout was a little bit bad, but I know that we are there to support and we'll be there next year, of course. So when we go through those, of course, I'm more involved and I know more about what's happening at YWCA, but many people, if that's their first, I mean, there are times when I bring some of our doctors and then they're like, well, how come we didn't know this organization, or how come we didn't know all these services that was available? Because this becomes part of the social determinant of health, the way that we are providing care for the patients. I just want to give you an example. I wasn't sure if I should or not, but since I'm not going to mention the name, I'm going to try to make sense out of this. Hopefully I can do it. So I do case conferences every day. There are 2 teams, and I lead one of them. There was a patient with disability, and then intellectual disability was the issue. And our nurses, when they were presenting, we look at their different specialties that they go to. This can be cardiology, endo, bariatric, or any. Then their medications, make sure that they are actually taking them. If they stop, why they stop, if there's any issues. And this patient was actually using birth control pills, and then it stopped. But then when I look at it, so I'm not a physician, so I'm looking at it from the way that we are trained in the case conference setting. So we pick up things maybe in some cases better than the doctors do, because I can see the picture from the way that they are presenting. I can see the whole picture. And our social worker also is in the team, so we have one on each. I said, well, this person has intellectual disability, yet they were on the birth control, but now they're not. We need to understand what that situation is. So, because what if she's abused? So what if someone is managing these and then this is being mismanaged? And then this is where we need our social workers to reach out to get a better picture. But the point on this one is like people who are in certain situations, it may be kind of unthinkable for many of us that we would be able to get out of those situations, but there are many who don't have the same foundation to process those things and then find the right way, because someone is going to abuse them, someone is gonna our clients with um, physical assault, sexual assault. So, and they are not able to get out of those situations because they don't have a place to go, and all those. And then in the breakfast, when we have those stories that we hear directly from those people who benefit, that's really, I think that's really important for people to know. So, my question to you is, any client stories that you would like to share from those annual breakfasts that
Yeah,
we
I
had?
will. I will share one. And you're right. There's a lot of. We have so many stories about clients who have received our sexual assault response services, our housing services, and our economic empowerment services that have just made significant strides and done well. I think the one I was going to bring up today was more around our economic empowerment programs because not that many people actually know about our economic empowerment programs.
Right.
I think sexual assault response and home and housing tend to be the things that people think about when they think about YWCA. So just a real kind of a quick story about a couple who recently came to us. The man came to us. Actually, we have